Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Pakhairagale, ni hao, tuna shumme, washmale, ohio gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal? Hale shuma chatore, ahlan wasalan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias. Swami up and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very superb, the very up-to-date Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. The spirits are very much lifted because yay, we're headed into a weekend. What about you? Are you working this weekend as well?
Yes, I'm working this weekend as well, alhamdulillah, and I think that, yeah, I just cannot thank Allah anymore as well. But ladies and gentlemen, at the same time, as much as we thank Allah, at the same time, I think we have to actually thank for all of those people who are out there who've actually been a constant support to our program and for whatever initiatives we have been taking. And then at the same time, I think I have a very important message as well that, ever since, we made sure that this platform will be available for all of those people who have any kind of talent or who have done something new. We wanted to share it with the world as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, what's disturbing for me is that there are a lot of other people who actually used to be guests on our program as well are not really in a very good mood, and it's because of the fact that they're like, you've started calling newer people, but hey, that's our job, and that's how we fulfill our responsibility.
Absolutely. Being working for the state channel, especially Shahzad, in a country where the competition for media in terms of, private channels and then state as well, it's immense, the competition.
Yep.
And when we talk about the private channels specifically, because I understand because of commercialism, because of ad revenue, whatnot, everything is very star-based or celebrity-centered, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think this is our big responsibility over here to actually look for and then, make them perform in front of you as well, young talent and unnoticed talent,
Yes.
and also some unsung heroes of the society.
Wow, wonderfully said and wonderfully explained as well. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get started with the day, there's just one simple question which I would like to pose towards Siza.
Okay.
And that is that, because we want to work, and we are habitual of doing that as well so that we can actually, run all our finances and we make sure that, we are actually every day when we wake up stepping towards success or our destiny as well. This is what everybody wants and this is what everybody should do as well. Now, what happens is that when you are struggling or when you're working or when you have an aim to fulfill or to reach,
Right.
what happens is that you actually forget about everything else and you do not prioritize things the way you were
Okay.
prioritizing them, and all of those people might have a complaint or they might not be very happy with you. So how do you see it? Do you think that life needs to run you or you need to run life?
So here's the thing. Of course, I mean, you need to run live. But should I tell you something,
Sure.
Shahzad, if this is happening to you? It's okay. I don't want to say it's very unusual or, sometimes doesn't even happen to other people.
Yeah.
Even if you read about, Einstein or even Plato, which is like hundreds of years back, they used to, sort of face these things as well. Especially when you have a determination to reach a certain goal like you do, mashallah. You become so invested in it that you really want to, invest all your energies, your time, I mean, your good mood, everything into it. And sometimes, yes, you do get off track with your real life or social life, even with your family life even.
Yeah.
So to strike the right kind of balance is the problem. But if you do find yourself in that ordeal, just, take that as a sign and know that you have to, well, fix things.
Yeah, all right. Well, fix things or either keep on moving in the same direction. And ladies and
Right.
gentlemen, this is one thing which I am not going to say that I firmly believe in it, but I think that, once you're successful, everybody is going to come back together as well.
course.
I think that this is one thing which I've observed during my life as well. But not just that. There's one more thing which actually makes me think that, if anybody and everybody can do that, I think that they will feel good about themselves. And that
What
is
is that?
by staying fit. That
Yeah.
is by staying slim. Because I happen to have a lot of friends, who are really obese.
Yeah.
And once I asked him, I was like, okay, when was the last time you took a picture of yours? You know what he said? He said almost 7 years ago.
No
So imagine
way.
the kind of stress people might be in because of the fact that they do not look good on screen.
Absolutely. And Shahzad, I think it is very pertinent to mention over here, this is not body shaming that we are probably going to be talking about in this show as well. being healthy is not an issue. Obesity is an issue, like Shahzad already mentioned. Ladies and gentlemen, you really have to take care of the insides of your body. Of course, you know, when you don't see something, you don't realize what issues you may have as well, right? That is why you have to regularly go to a doctor as well. And I do realize people who are often slim as well and people who are obese as well, when someone calls them out in terms of their appearance, oh, you don't look good, you're too skinny, or you're too fat, or something like that, of course, people don't like it. But for your own self, not for the people around you, for your own self, I think you should be really aware of what your, I mean, what is the right weight and what is the right, I want to say...
BMI.
Yeah, exactly, BMI for your height and everything, for your age as well. So this is what we are talking about in terms of fitness. No standard values or no standard set of what you should be looking like, but for your own self, you should definitely
we want everybody out there to feel good about themselves, ladies and gentlemen, and we're not asking for too much. Now, there's a lot of difference when we talk about obesity, ladies and gentlemen. Obesity by WHO is actually recognized as a disease. You know, it's not something which we say that, oh, kitna cute lag raha hai, you know, please. And I think that it's a request to all of those Pakistani mothers, isko aur khila do. You know, we do not have to do that. You know, everybody's got an appetite and they will eat accordingly. I think this is one thing which we need to do. Now, there are two kinds of cases. One, obviously, we're very lucky that from 10th of August, gyms are opening up, restaurants are opening up. We're going to get back to life, which is, I think, great. And at this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, Shiza actually made us a promise to the entire team over here in the studios and in MCR and, you know, our producers and cameramen that she's going to treat us as soon as the restaurants are going to open up. But not just that. Now, there are two types of people. One, obviously, there are people who are motivated, who are dedicated, who are very resilient, and they're like, okay, we need to do something about it. And once they get to it, you know, they probably achieve and get their desired results. But now there is a kind of people, ladies and gentlemen, who've actually crossed that line where, you know, only exercise or only diet won't help. So we really need to converge or probably move towards the modern solutions available. And which is why today, ladies and gentlemen, over here in the studios, we are very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who's actually going to do a bariatric surgery onto you, and that for all of those people who've gone through those surgeries, have lost 50 kgs or 40 kgs, and we have those success stories. We cannot unfortunately share them with you because of the fact that obviously that's a client and a doctor relationship, and we do not want to make it probably public. But we do have a live case scenario over here in the studios who actually happens to be her patient, but not just that, she happens to be a singer as well. And her kid, her boy actually is a star as well in the making. So ladies and gentlemen, we are actually going to be in conversation with the doctor. We will ask about the patient's experience because she's over here in the studios, and her son is actually going to sing us a song. So I think it's very simple. It's going to be a lovely morning. It's Friday over here in Pakistan. Let's get started. So ladies and gentlemen, in the first place, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the in-charge metabolic general surgery, PIMS. He's none other than Dr. Atif Inam Shami Sahab. Assalamu alaikum, sir. Good morning.
Wa alaikum salam, Shahzad and Shisha, and the viewers of the PTV world. I'm very grateful for you to inviting me here.
Thank you very much for joining us, and you look very handsome early in the morning.
Thank you very much.
Right on point. And alongside Dr. Atif, ladies and gentlemen, we've actually been joined by someone who's sung more than 300 songs, not just for herself, for the public, even for PTV, Pakistan Television. She hails from Kashmir, and she actually sings in the native language as well. So before we move on, she is actually one of those patients who's actually going to share her success story, how Dr. Atif actually did a bariatric surgery on her and how she was able to not just lose weight but even get rid of diabetes.
Oh,
you know,
brilliant.
This is one thing we really need to speak about. She's none other than Mr. Rizwana Khan. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam, everyone. Hi, good morning.
Hi, thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you over here in the studios.
Thank you
Lovely
so much.
to have you.
Thank you.
Not just that, ladies and gentlemen, you know, just like the mother, you know, she happens to be a singer. The son wants to be a singer too as well. How good is he? This is one thing which we really need to figure out, ladies and gentlemen. Very quickly, we have over here in the studios with us Mr. Ali Khan. Hello, Ali. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alaikum salam. I'm fine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. So first things first, let's get started with you, sir. Bariatric surgery, metabolic surgery. What is it? Please explain us and our viewers as well.
Thank you, Shahzad. You introduced very well about bariatric surgery, about body mass index, and about obesity, that it is a disease. Before it was considered a condition.
Exactly.
Obesity is a disease and it causes other diseases like diabetes, hypertension, lots of cancer and stress disorder, as you said, already mentioned it.
Right.
So bariatric surgery, metabolic surgery is basically surgery in which we use keyhole surgery, that we don't cut off the whole abdomen.
Okay.
We just go through small 4 to 5 incisions, and then for a layman person, we just alter the stomach and intestine. Either we reduce the size of the stomach, or also reducing the size of stomach, we also create a bypass or a new junction between stomach and small intestine, so that food doesn't go through the first part of the intestine, and then
Which is the larger intestine?
Yeah, no, not the large intestine. There are
Okay.
two kinds of intestine: small intestine and large intestine.
Yeah.
Small intestine, in average, in every person is like 7 meters.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we need to just bypass first 1/3 of it,
Alright.
so that whatever we eat, not all of that will be absorbed.
All right.
By the larger
Yeah,
intestine.
by the small intestine.
Small-
All the absorption happen in small intestine. Okay.
Okay, so I understand this, and please correct me if I'm wrong as well. So first thing, this is something newer and way beyond liposuction, because earlier if we were talking about reducing weight, we were probably cutting down on the fat or
gastric
fatty
bands as
tissues
well.
already present inside you. So by this surgery, you're sort of increasing or reforming the metabolism of a person that was already existing. That is
Exactly.
brilliant. How
Exactly.
long have you been doing this for?
So you think everybody has fat.
Yeah.
Normal fat percentage in a man should not be more than 12 to 18%. For females, it is like 20 to 25%.
Okay.
So whenever this fat gets excessive, it's known as adiposity.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when this fat gets abnormal as well, or causes hormones which causes changes in the body which affects the organs like heart, kidney and liver and other organs, so it is known as adiposopathy. So as you said, when obesity starts, when a normal weight person has more than 20% of his normal weight. For example, if a normal weight for a person is 70 kg, when he becomes 84 kg, then he becomes obese. Till 84 kg, he is an overweight person, and he can get lifestyle intervention like diet and drugs, and he can reduce his weight. But there are certain people, with increasing age, our metabolism gets slow as well. And then when you pass this 20% level or cutoff, then it becomes really difficult. So there is a study from Sweden which says that in 10 years they took two cohorts or two groups of people. One were offered bariatric or metabolic surgery, the other went with the lifestyle intervention. At 10 years they saw that there was 0% relapse of obesity and diabetes in the person who took surgery.
Wow.
Whereas there was more than 50 or 60% relapses in the group which didn't have any surgery.
Yeah.
So in some studies even 100%. So this surgery is effective. So it gives you a sustained weight loss, and to top that off, it cures diabetes type 2.
Wow.
And diabetes is a huge problem, and you people know that diabetes can affect the whole body. It can cause stroke, it can cause people to lose their limbs, then occupancy and financial losses. In Pakistan, we don't have exact figure, but in USA, 2017, there was $327 billion which was spent on treatment of diabetes alone. So if you treat diabetes, you can cut off those patients like heart bypass surgeries, amputation, dialysis, or liver transplant. Even still, the number one cause of liver transplant in USA is obesity. So obesity is such a dangerous disease.
Exactly, it is indeed. But at this point of time, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard what Dr. Saab actually had to say, and I think that it's wonderfully well on our behalf that we've actually invited him over the show as well, so that we can share this technology with everybody out there. Keyhole surgery, ladies and gentlemen, is not relatively very new, but over here in Pakistan it is, and we have very few doctors who can actually do that, or probably have the particular equipment to operate, or probably do those surgeries. But now very quickly, moving on to a success story, not just one, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
I think we should actually tell people we have a WhatsApp group, and on our WhatsApp group, ladies and gentlemen, our producer actually sent us like 10s and 20s or probably 30 different success stories of Dr. Saab, where Dr. Saab has operated and people have actually lost like 50 kgs, 40 kgs, and some people came in with diabetic issues as well, and they got rid of their diabetes type 2 as well. So we're here sharing a success story with you as well, with Rizwana Khan, who happens to be a singer, and for a singer, it is very appropriate to look good on screen, probably while you're performing, and feel good about themselves as well.
Thank you.
So Rizwana ji, what I want to ask you is, when was the time when you thought that, okay, now I really need to opt for this surgery, and who told you about this surgery, because this is relatively new in Pakistan?
मुझे खुद से फील होता था कि मेरा वेट बहुत ज़्यादा हो गया, और मैं अपने आप को बहुत हेल्दी नहीं समझती थी, क्योंकि मैं वॉकिंग डिस्टेंस से भी बिल्कुल वेस्ट हो चुकी थी. और डायबिटीज़ का मुझे तब पता चला क्योंकि एक्चुअली डायबिटीज़ पेशेंट मुझे फैट से हुआ था, क्योंकि मुझे पता नहीं चला जब मैं अपने ऑपरेशन के लिए गई। मुझे मोटिवेशन ज़्यादा मेरे बच्चों ने मुझे किया, मोटिवेट किया इसके लिए, और फिर मैं खुद से ही मैंने ये स्टेप लिया। फिर मैंने इस सर्जरी को सोशल मीडिया पे सर्च किया, बाकायदा पढ़ा, रीड किया। फिर जब मैं सेटिस्फेक्शन मुझे मिली और मेरे अंदर विल पावर आई और फिर मैं गई, फिर मैंने कंसल्ट किया और इन्होंने बहुत इस प्रोसेस को 6 मंथ्स लगे थे। और फिर मैं गई और फिर इंशाल्लाह आपके सामने हूँ। मेरा 110 kg वेट था और नाउ आई एम 58 to 60 in between.
That is very interesting, and right now looking at you, Ms. Rizwana, I can't even believe you were above 100 as well. So the story that she shared is that, of course, you had diabetes type 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so she was, of course, having obesity along with so many other issues that people go through once they develop diabetes. So her children were sort of, motivating her to go for this particular surgery. And then she looked it up, did her homework actually, did a lot of research, and finally spoke to Dr. Sab over here, who helped her, look like what she does now. Mashallah, I'm pretty sure you look great even before, but you do look brilliant right now.
बिल्कुल इसके लिए ये है कि चूँकि डॉक्टर साहब ने तो अपना काम किया था। ऑपरेट के बाद जब मैं ओटी से नीचे आई अपने रूम में, तो उन्होंने मुझे ये कहा कि हमने अपना काम तो कर दिया, अब आपने साबित कदम रहना है कि आपने अपने आप को किस तरह फिट रखना है।
Exactly.
और मैंने उसको किया, बिल्कुल ऐसे ही किया। मुझे आज भी ये लग रहा है कि मैं उसी प्रोसेस में हूँ डॉक्टर, मैं ओटी में हूँ।
और इससे पहले कि हम इस गुफ्तगू के सिलसिले को आगे बढ़ाएं, ख़वातीनो हज़रात, what she's actually trying to say over here is that that she still thinks that she's actually in the operation theatre. Dr. Saab did what he had to, but now she actually needs to follow up as well, and she needs to make sure that the kind of lifestyle she's enjoying right now is in line with the kind of surgery she's got, so that she does not go overweight as well. So let's take a good look at how she was before and how she is now.
Oh wow, let's do this.
All right, so where we see this ITP written, ladies and gentlemen, that's before, and that's not very good, but after is very good. Wow. A wonderful job done, I think. डॉक्टर साहब के हाथ में लग रहा है शिफा भी बहुत है माशाल्लाह से।
माशाल्लाह,
क्या बात है,
माशाल्लाह।
क्या बात है। अब जो बहुत ज़रूरी सवाल है वो ये है कि जब भी हम इस तरह की सर्जरी की बात करते हैं, जब भी हम ऐसे ऑपरेशन की बात करते हैं, तो पाकिस्तान के अंदर ऑपरेशन जो है वो उससे लोग बहुत डरते हैं, और ख़ास तौर पे एक ऐसा ऑपरेशन जो एस्थेटिकली जिसका ताल्लुक हमारे एस्थेटिक्स के साथ हो, कि हम दिखने में कैसे लगते हैं। बोटॉक्स जब नया आया तब भी लोगों को बड़े मसले मसाइल थे, लोग नहीं कराना चाहते थे, लेज़र आई, इस तरह बड़े मसले रहे। लेकिन ये तो एक ऐसा ऑपरेशन था जिसमें लाइफ एंड डेथ खुदा न खास्ता सिचुएशन हो सकती है। डॉक्टर साहब से भी पूछेंगे। तो आपने कैसे फैसला लिया? आपने कहा कि यार इस तरह रोज़ रोज़ मरने से बेहतर है कि मैं एक दफ़ा चांस ले लूँ, या आपको ये अश्योरिटी थी डॉक्टर साहब की तरफ से या इनकी टीम की तरफ से कि इंशाल्लाह आपका ऑपरेशन अच्छा होगा? So for all of those people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to pose to Ms. Rizwana over here is that it is obviously a very difficult situation to opt for, because it kind of relates to the aesthetics. And when we speak about aesthetics, obviously relatively over here in Pakistan, all of these things in the urban areas are obviously now people are getting used to of, but in rural areas it's different. She hails from Kashmir, so coming all the way, getting in touch with Dr. Saab and deciding for something, whether when whatever weight she had before, whether she's going to probably get that feeling that okay, I might just lose up on or give up on life just because of the fact that I do not look good or I do something about it. बताइए।
चूँकि जब मेरा वेट बढ़ता चाहे, क्योंकि 75 से विद इन 1 ईयर मेरा एकदम से
क्या खा क्या रही थी आप?
मैं
I don't think it has anything to do
नहीं,
with
नहीं,
what
खाने
you
से
eat,
नहीं हो
the
रहा था।
condition,
ये अभी
right?
डॉक्टर साहब बताएंगे ना, खाने से ही
खाने
होता है,
से
मतलब और
तो-
मोटा मतलब किस चीज़ से होता है? वैसे ही
बस
हवा से?
शायद कार्ब ज़्यादा थे और मुझे
यानी
प्रोटीन,
चिप्स का
क्योंकि
बहुत ज़्यादा
सबसे
खाती
ज़्यादा
थी।
मुझे राइस और ये चीज़ें पसंद थी, बिरयानी वगैरह की।
हाय
होल वेट
मटन
मुझे
पुलाव।
पता ही नहीं था कि होल वेट का क्या, प्रोटीन का क्या
बिल्कुल।
फैट से ताल्लुक है। कार्ब ज़्यादा होते हैं क्योंकि प्रोटीन को हाई होना चाहिए,
हाँ
अप
जी।
होना चाहिए। और इसका मुझे अब पता चला कि कार्ब्स क्या है, प्रोटीन क्या है, जिंक क्या है, ये चीज़ें जब आप प्रैक्टिकली उस प्रोसेस से गुजरते हैं तो पता चलता है।
बिल्कुल।
और चूँकि जो मेरी फील्ड है, इससे मुझे बहुत फील होता था कि चूँकि स्क्रीन, स्टेज, मीडिया, के एक ग्रेशियस पर्सनैलिटी और ग्लैमरस होना चाहिए।
Exactly.
अदरवाइज
Absolutely.
कैमरा तो इस चीज़ की बिल्कुल कंप्रोमाइज़ नहीं करता कि आप हेल्दी और मोटे लगो, मतलब वो आपको बहुत डबल दिखाता है वैसे भी।
अदनान समी को देख लीजिए,
उन्होंने भी करवाई थी।
हालांकि वो हमारे
लेकिन
agent
ये जो सर्जरी है ये बहुत लेटेस्ट है, कैमरा सर्जरी है। मैं बहुत सेटिस्फाइड हूँ इस ऑपरेट के बाद, और अब तक मतलब मैं इस पे हूँ, और ये होल लाइफ मुझे ऐसे ही रखना है।
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह।
Inshallah. Okay, I really hope you continue with this new lifestyle that you have
Inshallah.
started as well. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to move on to the young star over here because I think very shortly we will have to switch to the next segment as well. So Ali Khan, you are now a singer. You want to be a singer in the future as well. When did you start singing?
मैंने 7 साल की उम्र में पहला सॉन्ग किया था। मामा के साथ एक फंक्शन पे गया हुआ था, तो कुछ देर की ब्रेक हुई थी।
Okay.
तो मैंने वैसे ही माइक पकड़ लिया और गाना शुरू हो गया, तो साथ फिर म्यूजिक भी बजाना शुरू हो गया म्यूजिशियंस ने। तो फिर इस तरह मेरा पहला
Which
सॉन्ग।
song was it? So he's saying he was 7 years old when it was the first time he went with his mother for a concert. And when it was sort of halftime, if that's
Break
the right
time,
word,
yeah.
yeah, he went on stage and started singing, and everyone joined in, the musicians and whatnot. कौन सा गाना था जो आपने पहली दफा perform
मेरा देश है मेरा माहिया।
Okay.
मेरा देश
पाकिस्तान
है
के
मेरा
ऊपर।
माहिया, what a wonderful song it is. But very quickly, what we're going to do right now is we are actually going to request you to sing us a song.
Yeah.
Whatever song or whichever song you prepared for us, please go ahead. Let's see what have you got so far.
जे थों कदी रावी लंघ जावे, हयाती पंजाबी बन जावे, मैं बेड़ियां हजार तोड़ लां, मैं पानी विचों सा निचोड़ लां, जे थों कदी रावी लंघ जावे हो, जे रावी विच पानी कोई नहीं ते अपनी कहानी कोई नहीं, ते संग बेलियार कोई ना, ते किसे नू सुनानी कोई नहीं, अखां च दरिया कोल के मैं जख्मां दी थां ते रोड़ लां, जे इत्थों कदी रावी लंघ जावे, हयाती पंजाबी बन जावे, मैं बेड़ियां हजार तोड़ लां, मैं पानी विचों सा निचोड़ लां, जे इत्थों कदी रावी लंघ जावे हो।
खूबसूरत यार, very wonderfully sung यार.
And you know, Ali Khan, so अभी आपकी आवाज़ mature भी नहीं है. Of course, when you grow up, you will. And already you're singing so nice, mashallah. That's brilliant. So is it true that whatever your parents are, you see the kind of environment in the household, you want to be that. So in case of doctors, often and usually more than often as well, the kids say, मुझे भी बड़े होके डॉक्टर बनना है, मामा जैसे बनना है, बाबा जैसे. So were you inspired by your mom?
बहुत इंस्पायर हुआ था।
Really?
मेरी इंस्पिरेशन ही मतलब मामा है मेरी।
और मदद भी करती है, मैं आपको बताती भी कि सुर क्या है, लय क्या है, अंतरा क्या है, ये सब चीजें भी बताती हैं। बहुत खूबसूरत। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग अस अली। और सबसे अच्छी बात ख़वातीन हज़रात वो है एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, आई थिंक व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू से इज that obviously children take away or take a lot from their parents as well, and they want to be how their parents have actually survived because they are their role models, which is wonderful. But for me, it was always a very different story. Every time somebody used to ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know the only answer I gave?
Pilot?
A father.
Okay.
And which I am, ladies and gentlemen. As soon as I grew up, I was like, okay, that's what I want to be. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going for a short break. We're going to bid farewell to Ali Khan over here, and we'll have another guest who's actually going to talk about startups. But obviously, when we come back after the short break, we want to ask Dr. Saab whether this surgery, which we're talking about today, can it be life-threatening? Can there be scenarios? Can it be dangerous as well? And for who do you think actually needs to get this surgery done? I think is the right question.
Exactly.
Let's go for a
Very short break. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Today marks the first sad anniversary of the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. This was the lawfare committed by the Indian state through one presidential order, through the stroke of a pen. They made Kashmiris refugees on their own land. They took away their ownership rights, their right to identity, changing the entire demography, announcing various policies, be it the construction of Sainik colonies, building 2 lakh houses for Hindus, and sowing the seeds of saffronization and RSS and Hindutva narrative into IOK. The people of Jammu Kashmir right now are going through the worst form of human rights violations. They are being kicked out of their homes, their voter rights are being snatched, they are being made into a minority when already they're the owners and the heirs of that land in India. Through their occupation forces and now through their Indian public, they want to grab the entire place. And I'm afraid this is the highest crime that India is committing, which is called genocide according to international law. And we might become extinct. So this death warrant issued by India last year is basically to make entire IOK into a graveyard of Kashmiris.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with the very brilliant Shahzad Khan and Shiza Hashmi on PTV World early in the morning, like every other day of the week as well. Jummah Mubarak to everyone watching. Remember Shahzad Khan, myself and my entire team in your prayers as well. So today,
And our producers too as well, ladies and gentlemen.
Especially our
Special prayers for our producers.
Absolutely. He does a lot of work, of course. So here's the thing. So today, of course, along with promoting young talent over here in the studios, we're talking about something so interesting. This is the first time I came across it, and it is bariatric surgery as well. But right now, we have another guest who will be replaced during the break time as well. Shahzad, mind we introduce
All
you?
right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this lady who actually made sure that she's going to be on the program came all the way from Lahore. She's actually working with newer startups, and she's helping them with risk management, marketing, how to actually make sure that the cost of the product which you're manufacturing, how to sell it out in the market. So it's more of a business consultancy. But I was shocked to a point that there was this such young lady who's actually helping out all of those people who are coming up with these new startups as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we're quite lucky that we've actually been joined by Ms. Huma Ejaz. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Thank you so much for the compliment early in the morning.
No, but you truly deserve that, because this is what it says over here on the paper, that you're a business consultant, and the kind of conversation we had, which is wonderful. Now, how are you actually helping all of those youngsters who are out there, who come up with their new startup ideas? What do you say to them, or what do you ask them in the first place?
Acha, I would like to start from just give a big introduction how it started. I was working in a very senior roles. My last job was as a CFO, and I actually quitted my job and I made sure I get into consulting to help women business and startups.
All right.
So basically, what I felt is there was a gap between the consultants and the market of these youngsters who were actually trying to create something,
So
and
you
there was a
wanted to
gap.
bridge the gap.
Exactly.
All right.
So how my role evolved was I helped some startups to get funding, the capital or the
More like an incubation center.
Incubation centers, exactly. So that's how my role evolved.
Okay.
So I actually planned the financial thing. I mean, for example, if you have an idea and you talk to me that I want to create something in the market and I want to solve this problem, then my question was, how would you monetize this idea? How would you make money out of it? Because obviously, every idea is good unless you have a monetizing strategy for it. Because obviously, in the long run, you have to survive, you have to pay for your expenses. So that's how we evolved, and
So which is why what I'm going to do today is that I'm going to give you a live case situation. So me, Shiza, for all of those people who are on television, we sell ourselves. We sell our talent. Selling ourselves really does not sound very well. But yeah, we sell our talent. We are the product ourselves.
Yeah.
And we have to sell ourselves as well. But now, how do you think that we really need to come up with a plan which will give us money?
well, let's be very honest about it.
Yeah.
We all are sellers. I mean, if you are a businessman, you are a seller.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your case, you guys are developing your personal brands,
Yeah.
which would evolve into multiple fields.
Yes.
You know, in a few years, you can get into, you know, coaching people how to be in the morning shows, or maybe because a lot of people, 22 million people are watching you in the morning.
More than that.
So even if even just make it 50% of it.
Right.
Because
So
we
still-
go out in 46
still-
different countries. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's why.
So at least more than 1 million people are watching you,
Yeah.
just to be on the conservative side. So that
Which we
means
do not
people
like.
know you.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Right.
So people know you. So in future, when you're launching some business or some idea or any product that you believe in, people will be listening to you because they
Exactly.
can connect to you. They already know you.
Okay, so Huma, just one quick question before
Sure.
we, of course, move back to Dr. Saab over here. And this has to be an honest answer. I want you to sort of, you know, highlight how you feel being a business consultant, the environment for starting a new business or for, you know, retaining a business has changed or has not changed in Pakistan over the past 2 years.
What I would say from last 4 or 5 years, I've been working with tech startups, mainly
Yeah.
the
Okay.
technology startups. I see a lot of things happening.
Yeah.
But again, the world is full of opportunities. You have to be wise
Yeah.
and intelligent.
Yeah.
Your every move should be very intelligently planned. For example, there are incubation centers in all big cities of Pakistan. Lahore, Karachi, Islamabad is filled with opportunities. Now you have to understand the market first. You don't have to waste your time.
I think you
For
probably
example,
have to understand the need of the market.
need of the market as well. For example, sometimes you have the need, but you are not wise enough to go to the right startup because
Yeah.
obviously Pakistan, worldwide, there's
And
a
this is
culture.
where your role comes in as well as a business consultant. That you are
Yes,
going to guide
but
people,
this is very
okay, you know,
limited
this is
as
where you
well
need to go.
because my role is more towards financial strategy. I
Yeah.
tell them, for example, if you have an idea, this is how you can make money. This is how
That's the
I
only problem
connect.
we have. Well, you know, we have ideas, but we do not have money.
We do have. So that's what there are investors, and very many investors are willing to invest in your products or your services or the business idea you have. Now the problem comes when the new startups, they don't know exactly how to convince the investor to give them money, to invest the money,
Yeah.
and how would the structure go. That's when you need a consultant.
Of course.
So that's why I've noticed that people are very hesitant or reluctant to, you know, it's basically an investment if you're hiring a consultant and getting the work done.
Right.
Or
That's
you're
what
going,
that's what we do not want to do. We do not want to invest otherwise. We want to use our own head, and we are like, okay, fine.
No, but I think, Huma, you're right because when you're talking about a consultant, especially he or she comes with a lot of experience on hand.
and contacts as well.
Of course, of course. So that is why you're here as well to, you know, enlighten all the people out there. But now coming back to Dr. Saab, I have so many questions for you, and ladies
Go
and
ahead,
gentlemen,
go
even
ahead.
when we were
Let's
in the
do
break,
this.
we were definitely talking about that. So like Shazad asked, I'm going to add to that as well. And I want you to sort of answer it with stats and figures if you do have. What is the mortality rate for this particular surgery? Does it get very fatal in some conditions, or is it like smooth all the time? Does it only work for diabetes too? Does it also work for other diseases like probably which have obesity like PCOS,
Hypertension,
etc.?
anxiety.
Actually, obesity and its surgery is a very vast topic.
Yeah.
You talked about safety. It's a very safe procedure.
Okay.
And if we talk about the numbers, there's a Buchwald analysis of more than 87,000 patients. And they saw that mortality, you asked, any operation, surgical operation is not without mortality. Even if you go into any business, airplanes do crash, cars
yeah,
do
of
get
course.
accidents, but nobody stops using them.
The risk factor
So the
exists.
risk factor is always there. So it is less than laparoscopic cholecystectomy, which is the removal of gallbladder, which is a very common surgery, and which is usually between 0.6 to 0.8%, whereas in bariatric or metabolic surgery in all kind of patients, in some patients who are wheelchair bound, who can't move, take a single step, who have a decompensated heart disease, very poorly controlled diabetes, these patients needs optimization before surgery, and this optimization sometimes takes 1 to 2 months. I have patients with me who couldn't wear their own shoes. They were so much obese. So what I did, I got them admitted, and then I put them on a special diet and physical therapy, so that they were able, those who were not able to move 5 meters, they were able to move 1 kilometer before surgery.
Oh, wow.
So this is optimization.
Exactly.
And this is how this surgery becomes safe. Then you need to have a very good anesthesia as well. The surgeon has to be skilled in this type of surgery, because I sometimes call it buzz of this century. This surgery has given so many good results. obese people are subfertile or infertile, both men and women.
Alright.
Okay.
And one of the leading cause of infertility in young women or girls is PCOS,
Yes.
polycystic
So
ovarian
common.
syndrome.
Yeah.
And this treats more than 87% of the females who have PCOS. So as compared to the drug therapy,
Alright.
which almost has less than 10% chances. Whenever you go to a gynecologist, she will advise lose your weight.
Yeah.
And you can do that if you are an overweight person.
Yeah.
And why do we get weight? Now this question also comes. Yes, one of the causes is genetic. We are all destined to be fat somehow. We are living in an obesogenic era because we have a lot of processed food available.
Exactly.
Processed food is not just bakery items or Pepsi, Coke, anything which is being produced artificially or altered. Even fish farms.
Yeah. It's not organic.
You say fish is healthy, but a fish grown in a fish farm is not healthy because the fish in the river or seas is eating algae and getting omega-3 fatty acids from there. Whereas in the fish farm, they are given corn syrup or corn. So they are getting a lot of starch and carbohydrates. So they will be not healthy to eat.
Eventually
You will be
it will
thinking
result
I'm
in
eating fish that's healthy, but that's processed.
Yeah.
So stop eating processed foods.
Okay.
The problem is that the processed foods are relatively cheaper and the healthy foods are really expensive.
Really, that's
So
true.
that's why we see obesity not only amongst the rich but also in the poor as well, because poor can't afford healthy diet.
Yeah.
Right. Just a small question to add to that as well. Is there a certain limit to which to after which you won't treat a patient? Like you said, in case of Ms. Rizwana over here, she recently developed diabetes type 2 as well. What if someone has that for over so many years and it's out of control?
Then it's mandatory that he should or she should get surgery because that's the only way out.
Okay.
The worst bargain you can get out of is a controlled diabetes.
Okay.
So we have various procedures and the success rate of diabetes is various for them. Like for sleeve gastrectomy, it's around 60 to 80%. Roux-en-Y gastric bypass, similarly 70 to 85%. And then the procedure which I advocate mostly is mini gastric bypass. It is up to 95% success rate of curing diabetes. And rest of the 5%, the diabetes become controlled. You get off from the insulin, and if you are getting multiple drugs, you come back to only one drug, and then your diabetes is controlled or within the limit. So this is the results you can get from it. And as the business consultant is sitting here, and this program is going to 46 countries in the world, I hope lots of expats are seeing it as well. In USA, the gastric bypass surgery costs $23,000.
Yeah.
In Pakistan, in private setups, this bypass surgery costs usually between 6 to 8 lakh.
Okay.
So you can get a ticket, come here, get this surgery done, and go back.
And go back.
In that budget.
And still you will have some money. For the Pakistanis here, I tell you that a complicated diabetes, if you have a diabetes, the expense you will spend it on 2 years of treatment of diabetes. The similar expenses for this surgery, and you get rid of diabetes for life.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's
wow.
that's a
That's
wonderful
nice.
example which you've shared. But ladies and gentlemen, I think what we really need to do is that when we eat all of these processed foods, go out, have those burgers and drinks and whatnot. I think that we are actually investing in the wrong place. In the first place, if we keep a good diet, if we keep a good routine, if we go to the gym, if we exercise, we might not even have to spend 6 to 8 lakh rupees, or we might not even have to spend anything else onto our health as well. But God forbid, if you're going to spend a lot, have a lot of pizzas, have a lot of food, eventually you'll actually have to come down to a point where you will actually see Dr. Saab probably on top of your head, doing something with your stomach. Yes, but not just that. Very quickly, once obviously you're going to feel fine. You might not have diabetes. Eventually when you'll realize that you're healthy again, you will feel like singing songs. Which is why I'm going to move on to Ms. Rizwana over here. So Ms. Rizwana, once you realize that now you're slim and now you're keeping up well, which was the first song you ever sang? कौन सा गाना गाया था जब आप पतले हो गए थे दोबारा?
पतले हो गए थे तब तो
The
जब
feel
मैं
good song. अब बेहतर फील किया ना आपने?
हाँ बिल्कुल, मैं बहुत मुतमईन थी कि क्योंकि हम फैटी लिवर जब हो जाता है तो उस वक्त ये था कि मुझे जब मोटी से नीचे है तो डॉक्टर साहब कहते हैं कि ऑपरेशन तो माशाल्लाह कामयाब हो गया, वेल डन रिजवाना, लेकिन यू कांट सिंग। मतलब उन्होंने मुझसे मजाक किया। और मुझे पता था कि ये मजाक करें क्योंकि मैंने इनको ऑपरेट से पहले बहुत तंग किया।
हमें भी लगा आप हमारे साथ मजाक करेंगे, आप गाना सुना दें जरा जल्दी से। Yes,
लेकिन ये कि पीटीवी में मेरा स्टार्ट सॉन्ग सदाई कश्मीर प्रोग्राम से ही था, और उस वक्त हमने कश्मीरी की जितनी भी लैंग्वेज हैं, डोगरी, गोजरी, हिंदको, ये मैंने सॉन्ग्स यहाँ पे प्रोड्यूस
हिंदको में हो
किए।
जाए आज।
और जो भी आपको पसंद है, या उसमें हो जाए या हिंदको में भी हो जाए।
हाँ जी बिल्कुल, वो तो था गोजरी और हिंदको मिक्स है।
ठीक है।
जो प्रोड्यूस पीटीवी ने किया, और अब्दुल्ला कुरैशी साहब ने इसको यहाँ पे
जो सबसे अच्छा है वो वाला गाए।
उमड़ो जानी रे, उमड़ो जानी रे, उमड़ो जानी रे, तेरो उच्चो चिट्टो शमलो रे, तेन दिल की तो मारो कमलो रे, तेरो उच्चो चिट्टो शमलो रे, है तेन दिल की तो मारो कमलो रे, उमड़ो जानी रे,
Omaro Jani Re. Omaro Jani Re. I think that it is, we were actually talking about the beloved over here, ladies and gentlemen. इसका क्या मतलब Omaro Jani Re?
ये वहाँ का उच्चो चिट्टो शमला होता था और एक सरोको बूटो, ये वहाँ का एक बूटा है, पौधा दरख्त है, उस पे उसने अपने महबूब को महबूबा ने
मारो जानी रे किथे रह गए.
That's sweet. Okay. So, well, we are really short on time and we'd actually love to have a lot of conversation with all of these people as well, but towards the end. Moving on to Huma over here. Huma, we're sorry we have still a lot of questions, but I want you, because you know, in Pakistan especially, you will realize a lot of youngsters are actually aspiration of starting something of their own. They really don't want to be an employee anymore, you know?
Yeah.
So this is your camera, please go ahead, speak to them as a consultant and sort of, you know, tell them the problems that you identified, do not commit those problems.
So first of all, the first thing is you have to validate your idea, that your idea is a good idea, it can be marketed, people are willing to buy it, they'll pay you for this. First thing. Second thing, you have to see how you will convince your investors to invest in your idea. For example, there are so many other startups and ideas as well where you don't need an investor. The third thing would be find the right channels where you have to market your product. Fourth thing would be find mentors, find the right incubation centers, and they would save you a lot of money. And the fifth thing, or the most important one, would be you have to believe in yourself, because the secret of success is your own self. And you also have to make sure that you stay consistent.
Wow.
Don't give up.
Wonderfully well, ladies and gentlemen. So these are the 6 steps or points you really need to actually make sure that you know them by heart as well. But very quickly, we are actually going to say thank you for joining us. It was wonderful to have you. So Ms. Rizwana, अभी हम क्या करेंगे कि हम प्रोग्राम का इख्तिताम करेंगे, फिर हम वापस आपके पास आएंगे, आप गाना गाएंगी और फिर हम सबको खुदाफिज करेंगे. But thank you very much for being with us. It was wonderful to have you. For everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, if in case you're obese or if you know somebody who's obese or God forbid have type 2 diabetes just because of obesity, please make sure that you kind of go through this program in the repeat. The repeat timings will be?
Well, 5 past midnight.
And if you need any other information about that, you can write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
Well This Morning.
On Twitter.
Well This Morning without a G.
On Daily Motion and GTube.
It's PTV World and then Well This Morning.
And the fabulous recipe is going to be at?
5 past midnight. And yes, one more disclaimer that we did in the beginning of the show as well. You definitely have to look out for people who you think are unhealthy or who themselves feel that they're probably not healthy and they need to get fit as well. Again, I mean, it's a life choice. If you really want to probably put on weight or reduce weight, there's nothing wrong with that. But this was just an option that we liked presented to you.
Don't make them feel bad about themselves as well.
Never.
You know, there should always be a good selection of words or good selection of jargon in order to communicate whatever you're trying to say. Because, you know, people who are actually obese and cannot help themselves at times are actually suffering from depression and anxiety as well. We do not want them to go over there. We just want them to be healthier and nicer. And if you're going to say it in a nicer way, hey, you know what, we can look for more options and we might get rid of that extra belly fat you have. I think that they might actually hear you out as well on this one. So look after yourselves. It's Jummah. Remember us all in your prayers as well. It was a fantastic show today. I had a great feeling. Rizwana ji, Gana suna diji.
सुन वे बलोरी अखवालिया असा दिल तेरे नाल ला लिया तेरी मेहरबानी मेरे हानी मेरा बन जा तेरी मेहरबानी मेरे हानी मेरा बन जा सुन वे बलोरी अखवालिया हाय असा दिल तेरे नाल ला लिया सुन वे बलोरी अखवालिया असा दिल तेरे नाल ला लिया तेरी मेहरबानी मेरे हानी मेरा बन जा तेरी मेहरबानी मेरे हानी मेरा बन जा सुन वे बलोरी अखवालिया सुन वे बलोरी अखवालिया सुन वे बलोरी अख वालिया तेरे वल वेख के चन भी शर्माए ते डिग डिग पैंदे तारे ने ते डिग डिग पैंदे तारे ने तेरे वल वेख के चन भी शर्मावे ते डिग डिग पैंदे तारे ने ते डिग डिग पैंदे तारे ने वे सब तू सोहणिया हाय वे मन मोहणिया वे सब तू सोहणिया हाय वे मन मोहणिया मैं तेरी हो गई